Welcome back to another episode of Swans Cast podcast. I'm sure the intro video was lagging a bit there. I don't know if it was on your screen, but maybe it was just mine. Let's hope it didn't get into the final cut. But we go on anyway. So welcome back. I got Lee with me again. Been a couple of weeks since we did our last proper podcast.
Hello, good to be back.
I know you joined me for the preview for the Hull game the other day, but the last podcast was with an ex-player, Jason Price. So if you haven't already checked that out, you can go and have a look at that. So it was a good chat. I think it was about an hour and a half long about what it used to be like to play for Swansea back in the late end of the 90s and early 2000s and living in the area, becoming a footballer, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, have you been otherwise, been a couple of weeks? So what have you been up to?
Yeah, not bad. It's been quiet for me actually last couple of weeks. I'm trying to think. Went to the wrestling in Cardiff. It was good.
Was it good or overrated?
No, I loved it. It was great.
I saw someone took a picture of their seat and I was just like, you can't see anything.
I got to be honest, I was quite high up, and in the pictures I took, it looks awful, but you could see everything.
Just so small, isn't it? Like, it's bad enough in a football game or a rugby game and you're up there and the pitch seems so far away, and then this is just a small square in the centre.
Honestly, the pictures look awful, but I found where we were sitting was like you could see everything. And my eyes are terrible as well. Oh yeah, well, definitely.
I'm sure
the atmosphere then.
Yeah. I was going to say, do you have any signs?
No, nothing like that. Just a few beers.
Fair enough. I haven't been up to much either. Just the general, obviously, big weekend, big bank holiday weekend just gone. Did watch the telly. Not usually that into that sort of stuff, but thought, it's one of them where kind of if you didn't watch it, it's like you missed out in a way. I just wanted to see what's going on.
It did feel like that.
Just felt a bit, don't know, like I was doing other things while I was on in the background, so it wasn't like, because it was, to be honest, it was just watching people walk in for miles. Sort of seemed like
it was.
Fair play to them.
Yeah,
I must have been tired at the end of it.
I ended up watching it all. I did, because I like that sort of stuff. I was quite into the history of it all. I quite like it, and there's a bit of military background in my family, so I'm proper into it. But yeah, it was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that's what I like. I don't really follow the Royals or nothing, but I do like the history stuff behind it because it's just interesting in it to know where the country was before, and I know there's all these politics about people kicking off about certain things, which I'm not going to go into here. But I think for that day, you can leave it to the side in it and just, you either watch it or you don't have to watch it. And but I just, fair play to the guys walking all that distance and the guys carrying the coffin as well. I thought,
class.
Fair play. I don't understand. Go on.
No, I was going to say, it's just, I like it because there's nothing else like it, like nowhere else in the world.
Yeah, apparently it was
nobody has what we've got.
5 billion people across the world watched it. That's crazy.
Yeah, no one else has got what we've got. It's quite good.
It's like 60% of the world's population or something.
Yeah, nobody does pomp and ceremony like the British.
I'm skeptical of that figure though. 60%.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm sure about that.
How did they get that figure? How accurate is it? Because I'm I don't know. Just how many of the world's population live in China for a start, and I can't really see them airing it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. They get a lot of tourism from China.
But I
don't know. Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm skeptical of that.
Are the government allowing that? You know what I mean?
Well, my partner's got family in Italy, and her family, they had in Italy they had a full day special of it. It was all over the TV, and they Italy's not in the Commonwealth either, so they had a massive program for it because people are into it.
Yeah, I think it's a big thing in it. It's just they don't really do much anymore, do they? There's just more tourist attraction, I guess, in a way. I know there's more to it than that, but people are just interested, I guess. So
I think it's interesting.
Reviews, but it's that's another one, perhaps for a different debate. We'll leave it there because I'm sure some people are probably can they just shut up about shutting up about it?
Yeah. All I will say on it, just final note, is just can we just please keep politics out of Welsh football? It's just becoming rife for the moment. just keep it away from football.
Yeah. There's one thing, just
doing my head
clapping
in.
your hands for 2 minutes, so having 2 minutes silence, like they need to take it further, really.
Yeah, but people are using like football sort of rivalries to, you make their decision on politics. So yeah. Anyway, we'll leave it there.
Yeah, we're gonna have some nice comments now, probably. But if you weren't offended or didn't dislike anything what we just said, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The big red button probably below where Lee is on the screen, or if you're on Spotify, you can follow us, or any other podcast service. I'm sure there's a follow button wherever you're listening. And leave a like as well if you're watching on YouTube as well, because it helps spread the videos and the channel to more people who want to follow Swansea City stuff and talk and get involved in Swansea City stuff. So really would appreciate anyone that does click that thumbs up, as we do every week, to the people that do it. So thank you very much. Anyway, going into the actual content of this video, I'll start off with my 3-word week review, or it could be a 3-word couple of weeks review, because we haven't done one for a couple of weeks. But before we get into that, the agenda to follow, we've got 3 games to touch on. We're not going to run in chronological order to everything that happened in these games, but we're going to talk about themes and general points, and that is Swansea's win against QPR. 3 home games, actually, because of the postponement to the Birmingham game. Swansea 1, QPR 0. Swansea 0, Sheffield United 1. And Swansea 3, Sheffield United. What am I on about Sheffield United? Hull City, sorry. Swansea 3, Hull City 0. And also, I got another little game for you to play, Lee. So that is who played when Swansea last played. I should say who started, really, not who played, because it's using played twice. But who started when Swansea played West Brom in 2012 at the Liberty Stadium and won 3-1. So you can start thinking about that for later. That's one of my favourite games to watch, that is.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd chuck it in there, seeing as West Brom.
I know the game. To start thinking about that.
Yeah. Okay. So my 3-word couple of weeks review. Energy brings points. So I'm referring to a couple of changes, specifically in the attacking roles in the team, that Russell Martin has made, either by bringing in youth or by injury in the last game specifically, that just highlight maybe where we have been going wrong in the past, or not the past, but like earlier this season with some of the personnel on the pitch and what they are offering. And I think certain personnel who are now playing highlighting issues with personnel who have been dropped that we perhaps didn't realise until we've seen what these other people are offering. But we'll go into a bit more detail in that. Have you got a 3 words that's relevant to that, or is yours different and we'll touch on it later?
Yeah, no, it's kind of on the same thing. I've just got like better. Just got to be the biggest word out there at the moment. Just better. And then I've got hope and caution. So
yeah,
the caution probably comes after the games. So we can talk about that after. But I think my first 2 words, better and hope, sort of goes hand in hand with what you've been saying there about the personnel changes.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go into detail about it. So the first main personnel change, and this isn't necessarily the most relevant to my 3 words, but I think we should perhaps touch on it first. The big one, because we haven't touched on a couple of games. So the first one was Swansea against QPR, where we won 1-0. And the big change was bringing in Stephen Bender in goals. Now, I didn't see that coming. I don't know about you.
No, I didn't think he would do that. I honestly didn't. I missed the QPR game. That was the day I went to the wrestling. But when I saw the lineup come out and it was Bender, just didn't see it coming at all.
Yeah, I believe that is the first game, if I'm correct. I think
the
Stoke City game was Fisher. Yeah, I believe Fisher was the one I called out for perhaps being at fault for us not winning that game. Going back a couple of weeks now, I can't accurately remember it, but Bender coming in here, did not see it happening. I didn't think, we were saying a couple of times earlier this season, Martin's too stubborn to change his approach of how he wants to play, and he'll keep going until they do it right. But he has made tweaks. He has actually made tweaks to the system. And one of the big things he did was bringing in Stephen Bender, who I thought was out of the club in the summer. and the only reason he's still here is because he refused to go, basically, or Peterborough wouldn't pay the fee that we were asking for. But clearly, and Russell Martin's been talking about him well, saying that he's applied himself well. He's come back from his loan spell last year as a different person to the player he was when he first came to the club, or Martin first came to the club last summer. Obviously started for Martin originally, had a couple of games before dropping down for Hamer, before we brought Fisher in. And yeah, so I think Bender's done well. So fair play for getting himself back in the picture, I guess, because everyone was like, Fisher's Martin's man, he's not going to drop him, but he has. And I believe the main reason that he's dropped him is for I don't know how to word it really, but like Fisher likes to play the short passes. That's his game. That's why he brought him in, really, because Fisher likes to keep the ball, pass it to the defenders, play the short balls, and that's how Martin wants to play. That's perhaps been one of the biggest areas that we are being vulnerable and attacked by opposition. And I don't know whether it must be like in Fisher's mentality that he just always programmed to look for that short ball. And he's struggling to sometimes think, actually, I should clear it on this occasion. Like, it must be something that Fisher's struggling to adapt to. But Bender, not so much. Bender hasn't seemed to have an issue with like clearing it where it needs to be cleared. And that seems to be the main reason why the change has happened.
Yeah, but that's what's confusing to me, because it depends where that instruction is coming from. If if Russell Martin says, we play out from the goalkeeper no matter what, then that's fair enough. But it seems like now that since he's brought Bender in, like, he doesn't do that as much. That, like you said, it seems like Fisher was kind of doing that off his own back, which seems a bit strange to me, because that goal against Stoke literally comes from him trying to play out the back, like, last minute, and then it causes us conceding the free kick. So it makes total sense in that, if that's what he keeps doing, it keeps getting us into trouble. That he's dropped him. That just seems weird. Like, why would he keep doing that and keep getting us trouble if that's not what the manager's instructions are?
I think it's like the manager's instructions probably are to do it, but it's like also use your head sometimes.
Yeah.
And perhaps
it depends, because
he's just always like thinking, I can pull this off. And then ultimately, it's not usually like his pass necessarily that gets intercepted and we're in trouble from that. He's just playing a pass to somebody who maybe then hasn't got an option, and they're struggling, or they're playing back to him, and now he's under pressure, and then it's hard to get out of then, and perhaps he just isn't seeing it quick enough. He's like, I can play it to no one, I can play it to Cabango, and they'll get the ball, and that's fine. But all of a sudden, there's two men on them, and they're in trouble. But I don't know. Like, I guess it's because Bender, like against Hull in the last game, he's still playing short passes to the defence. It was once or twice in the second half that they did do it and get into trouble still. So it's not like he hasn't been doing it sometimes.
No,
but
he's just
not
doing it
afraid
less
to
at the right time.
Yeah, kick it away where he needs to kick it away.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just weird though. I just thought that's why I didn't see it coming, because I thought Fisher had a couple of good games. I can't remember what the game was before Stoke. I don't know if he made like a couple of, I can't really remember, but you're looking at like the Blackpool game, he was brilliant and saved a penalty. He'd had a couple of good games early on in the season. I thought, he's starting to come into it. And Bender got slated after the Oxford performance, so I didn't see that change coming at all. But since he's made that change, it seems to have changed. The performance. We seem to be playing a lot better. I know it's not that on its own, but it does seem to be a lot better. Definitely less sort of giving chances away needlessly from trying to play out from the back.
I know Bender got slated against Oxford, but I still maintain that was Wood. That's not Wood for me. Like, that's a hospital pass to the keeper, and you could say he should deal with it better, but he should never have played that ball. So, you could say ultimately the keeper should do better, but when you're the keeper, you're always the last man. So when something like that happens, you immediately get in stick. But ultimately, it's like, you shouldn't give Wood a free pass for that. He's improved dramatically after it. Would have going back to individual errors, which we'll touch on with Carl Norton in a bit. It happens sometimes. Doesn't mean a player can't bounce back from it. But I don't blame Bender for that.
Was it Wood? I thought it was one of the youngsters that passed it back to him.
I thought Wood
can't
came off the
remember.
bench and did it, or was it not? Was it Wood or?
It might have been. I can't remember, but I just, I don't blame him for that one either. But I just thought with like he had criticism and Fisher was the man. I just didn't. That was quite a shock that he actually did change that. I think he's done
Maybe
the
it was
right thing, but
Congreve. I don't know.
oh yeah, well he's been. Has anyone seen
Nah, it wasn't
or heard
Congreve
from
because he
Congreve?
started, didn't he? He started. It was
Yeah.
I'm trying to look now who came on. Wood did come on as a sub. So it was either Wood or was it Azim
Yeah, it might have been.
Abdullah? Maybe it was one of them. I can't remember now. I seem to think calling out Wood at the time, but it might have been the youngster. But then, like again, it's a bad pass from him. But you don't want to jump on his back too much either because it was his debut. Like, you know what I mean? He's whatever, it's done now. That's old news. We spoke about that. But yeah, I didn't see it come in, but it's been a good change, to be fair. So fair play to him. And immediately that did change things because QPR were the first team, I think, in the league to have more possession than us, and they actually had 54% in that game, which is completely unheard of from us. We were getting like high 60s, 70s in most of the season before this, going down to 46% and then getting a 1-0 win. I just didn't think Martin had it in him to change the game that much.
You'll take that. You'll take it all day.
I take it 100%. I'm just shocked.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah,
happy to
I
be
agree.
like proven wrong, but I'm shocked.
I didn't think he was going to change it that much. I think you can sort of mark it as the Stoke game. That's when everything seemed to change. In that game we were so much better going forward, and we'll come on to other players that have made that happen. But we were so much better going forward, and it seems to be from that game onwards. And that was Fisher's last game as well. So I think after that, obviously, he's tweaked Fisher out, and we've been so much better going forward from there. And yeah, I was looking at it earlier. We were averaging like 65% possession up to that game, and then I think it's like 50 odd after that.
Yeah,
and the performances have been so much better.
Definitely. Yeah, so let's go into the players that have made that happen anyway. In the QPR game specifically, Ollie Cooper got his first assist of the league season.
He's been outstanding.
Yeah, assisting Joel Pro. So he's the main person, I would say, that's allowed us to stop the rut, if you like. And it does look like the rut's been stopped. If you look at the form, obviously, we could go into the next run of fixtures and it could go back to a couple of losses. They're quite hard games coming up. So, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But in the last 4, 2 wins, a draw, and a loss. That's really not that bad form.
No, that shoots you up the table in the league anyway.
And it has done. We're in mid-table now. We're actually, funnily enough, only 1 win off 5th place, which is crazy considering how much stick Martin's had all year. And I'm not trying to say he hasn't deserved criticism at all, but that's where the league is at the moment. You look, Cardiff just sacked their manager, which I thought was a bit random. The league's all over the place. No. Like, other than the top 2 and maybe Burnley, I can't see anyone really starting to come around and put a run together. Everyone's a bit all over the place.
Yeah, I know, it's just toxic, the Championship is. As you know, I criticised him quite heavily. I was starting to get a little bit worried because I didn't think he had it in to change it, but I will hold my hands up and say he has changed it, and it's worked. I was worried going into the Hull game because what was happening then, obviously previously we weren't playing very well and obviously losing games, and then we were playing well and still losing games. We weren't getting the results, and I just think it's got all the hallmarks of just one of them seasons where you just can't get points on the board. So that Hull game was absolutely massive in terms of turning a performance into a result and a good win as well. So we'll just see what happens now. That's why I put hope going forward.
Yeah.
Just because I think he has changed it, in all fairness. Fair play to him. We've got to keep that going forward now. If they can carry on picking up, just need to pick up results in this league. You just need, however they come, you just got to pick up results.
Yeah, so obviously Ollie Cooper I mentioned in terms of my 3-word review, energy brings points. He's just like doesn't stop running when he's on the pitch, closing people down. He's getting himself into spaces. He's taking people on. I think that's something that's a little bit underrated a little bit, I think, in our system, because we're passing it around a bit, but when people do low low blocks or like stay back a bit, and it's hard for us to break them down, and we're just passing it. Sometimes that one person that will try and get past him, and if you get past him and you're behind the line, that's when they've always got to start shuffling around a bit. And this is where my criticism comes in of Patterson and Cham specifically. They're not doing that. They're really not doing that at all. Sorinola is still working his way into some sort of form. I do think he's improving, but he's not the lead or the Christie yet that we had last season. Manning is doing a decent job from the left, but I think mainly he's been our only threat for much of this season. Patterson and Cham, like pedestrian. But Ollie Cooper coming in, usually in space of one of those two, has really, really changed the way that we are playing. Now, he doesn't always have the most accuracy with his passing. I've got his stats up for the QPR game here, 59%, but I don't care because he can have 50, 40% passing accuracy if he's that one player trying things and gets an assist or gets an opportunity created as a result of it. Trying things, but losing the ball sometimes, but then got the assist for Joe Pereira's 1-0 winner. Whereas like the other guys, a bit more safe, they're not taking people on, they're just not really moving. That's the one thing that I've noticed recently, especially in Cham. He likes the ball to his feet, and then all of a sudden he's turning and there's two players in front of him, can't do anything, passes it back. Same as Patterson, out on a wing, drops a bit deeper, is not really doing much. The best thing I've seen him do recently was that turn in the box against Sheffield, which ended up in the opportunity for them where they scored. But we'll talk about that in a bit. But I don't know what you think of these two, but I think I didn't realise it at the time. Everyone, I think, has the good memories of perhaps Patterson's good form from last season. Really, really good first half of the year. Obviously, we had the drama in January. Never quite was the same afterwards. Not really sure why he hasn't been the same. He just doesn't look as lively. Doesn't look as much of a threat. He hardly getting shots away at the moment. And then you see Ollie Cooper coming in, and you literally can see the difference. What that energy that Ollie Cooper's bringing, the raw talent in a way, is offering, and there's no coincidence how a form has upturned as a result for me.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think I did go as far and to say he's like one of the single players that's dragged us out of that rut. I think because when he started against Stoke, you could see the instant difference. It's just the intensity. I remember when I was criticising Russell Martin earlier on, I said his system needs to have a high intensity because he always spoke about fitness and having a pre-season. That style of play always needed that intensity, and I just don't think that like players like you said, like in Cham and Patterson, were making that happen. You can literally see the difference overnight when he put Ollie Cooper in that Stoke game, because we were absolutely brilliant going forward. Yeah, we were still a bit ropey at the back, but going forward, we always looked like we were creating something, and it was always going through him. He was everywhere.
Yeah,
and you're right as well. I think having him come in and do that, you think, oh yeah, that's what we've been missing, because the type of football that we play needs that type of player who's, like we always talk about Pablo Hernandez, don't we? That type of player who's just full of energy. Yeah, he'll probably miss like 8 out of 10 passes, but then one pass will be an absolute worldie that'll create a goal, or he'll just take someone on and slide a pass through, and it creates a goal. And we've been absolutely desperate for that type of player. And I'm chuffed that there's someone like Ollie Cooper who's come from the academy, because I think he's brilliant, and he's definitely highlighted the poor performances of Cham and Patterson in particular, because you could see it from the Sheffield United game was a good example where obviously he might not be able to do that for 90 minutes yet, because he hasn't had loads of game time and he's playing at such a high intensity. When he comes off and they come on, you can just see the difference straight away. It's just totally dropped off.
Yeah, and it's not to say the others are not trying to do something. They're just trying very lazily, I think. And people are saying, "Oh, but Cham was trying." It's like running when you haven't got the ball to like. In the Sheffield game specifically, there was a couple of times where he didn't have the ball and he's running to make a challenge, but it's not really his man. He's not really making a challenge, and then he doesn't do anything. And then when the ball is won, there was a couple of times the ball's passed into him and his touch was awful. And then on a counter attack, there was a few times where we're countering, he's just standing there while everyone's running past him, including Joe Allen, when he should be in these gaps. Like, not standing there waiting for the ball to come to your feet. You're on a counter-attack, mate. Take it on a run. But yeah, I got from the QPR game, Jamie Patterson and Ollie Cooper stats here, right? The key one that stands out to me here, ground duels 1, okay? Ground duels and then 1, sorry. Jamie Patterson, 1 ground duel, 1-0.
Yeah.
Ollie Cooper, 8 ground duels, 1-5.
Did Patterson started that game as well, didn't he?
Yeah, they both started that game.
Yeah,
and they would have both been the players behind Perot.
Yeah,
the two of them in the
massive
same
difference.
position. And then you can also look at their defensive contribution. And Patterson's a more forward. No, they started in the same position, so you can compare them identically as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I agree.
No tackles from Patterson, 1 blocked shot. Okay, 4 tackles from Cooper, and a clearance. Okay, so like just that 4 tackles just shows the energy I'm on about. He's getting places and he's putting his foot in. And sometimes you win the ball because you just got there. There was one against Sheffield United, I think, where he's charged the keeper down. Well, he didn't get it from the keeper directly, but the keeper had to, not the keeper, sorry, it was Figueiredo, was it? Or was it the keeper? One of them. And they played a horrendous pass. Figueiredo's Hull. Again, the game's mixed up. It was the keeper. He charges the keeper down and he plays a horrendous pass. And he tries to be unselfish and square it to Perot, doesn't he? But, perhaps should have taken a shot off, and that's where his experience maybe is. He needs a bit more, but
I was gutted for him there. No, because he made it himself. He made the pressure. I was gutted for him there because I think he's quite young and he's not obviously like a goal scorer. Someone like Perot there would probably use Ollie Cooper to move the keeper and score himself. So I was gutted he didn't get it there, and he left his square pass a little bit short, but. So I was gutted because he deserved it, and he was so
trying
unlucky.
too hard to get he's like, I just want to stay in the team. I'm going to do everything for the team. Like that's
he's still quite raw, isn't he? He's still quite raw, isn't he?
Well,
he's still only young.
Where he's like, it's better if the team wins. I don't need to get a goal for myself, and that's why he's put. End of the day, in his head, I'm giving it to the top goal scorer. Joel Perot is so clinical.
Yeah.
But the pass just, he wanted to know he wasn't going to make it, I guess, and it was frustrating. But it happens, and he's going to learn from that, and that's important. And it's fine. I wouldn't criticize him at all for it because I don't think any of the other two would have got in that position in the first place, and we wouldn't have had that opportunity.
No.
So fair play. And that was just before he got subbed as well. It wasn't in the first half. That was 60-something minutes when just before he's coming off. So, and he's still running and making those charge downs. So I think he just deserves all the credit in the world, and we've been on about it quite a bit here, but. Yeah.
Well, no, he deserves it. Like I said, I think he's the number one reason why our form has changed, just because of the way he plays. I think he's been that good. I think he deserves. We try not to obviously overhype someone after 3, 4, 5 games maybe, but he has generally been that good and deserves all the praise at the moment. He's been. I mean, you're throwing him in now. He was on loan in Newport last year playing in League 2. You're throwing him into the Championship, playing against Sheffield United, who were top of the league and flying, and he just didn't look out of place at all. In fact, he was shining in the game. So I think he's been brilliant. And there's no way that Patterson and Cham should be anywhere near the starting lineup ahead of him. No way. Now.
Yeah, and I would also like to see him get an outside chance of the Wales squad in some time in the near future.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. I think it might have come a bit late for the World Cup, maybe, but you never know. If he carries on playing the way he is,
it might be it might be no option if he carries on the way he is.
I was a bit gutted because it's kind of sad in a way. But if he starts scoring goals, then he'll get more notice. But there was one on Saturday, and I was sat right behind it in the first half where he hits it, and it is going in the bottom corner, and I was getting up to celebrate, and the defender who's turned the other way. It hits the back of his leg and goes wide, and he knows nothing about it. And I was gutted for him because he deserved the goal. It was just going in the corner. The keeper stood still, and it just clips the heel of the defender who's not even looking. It's he desperately deserved that goal.
Just for reference as well, I haven't really got much to compare him to on the Hull game because Cham didn't come on. Patterson wasn't even on the bench. Oko Flex came on a bit late, so did Oberfem. He's only really Cundle, I guess, but Cundle had a good game, so I wouldn't be trying to call him out. But against Hull, 10 ground duels, 1-5. So he's just making things happen. He's trying, he's taking
It's
people on.
everywhere.
Yeah. Cundle, perhaps it's a different sort of player. He only had one ground duel, but he definitely made an impact.
Do you think Cundle and Cooper is a bit too attacking? Because normally they've been playing Fulton alongside him, but now with Joe Allen injured, do you play Grimes and Fulton and bring Cundle and
Yeah,
Cooper in?
it can't be
Could
too
be something.
attacking. It can't be too attacking because who'd you bring in instead? Because one of the things he's done in the past is put Joe Peru there and put Obafemi up top, still attacking.
Maybe
Or
he'll do
play
that.
Cham there, or play Patterson there, and I just wouldn't touch either of those. So after Cundle's performance against Hull, well, I believe he got man of the match after coming on for injured Joe Allen.
Yeah,
He's got to stay in the team, isn't he? And then you drop in Fulton back with Grimes. That's like the only option I can see.
I think so. Unless obviously, like you said, he puts Perot there and plays Obafemi forward, which could. But I tell you what, like we were worrying before about squad depth. I mean, if Cundle, that's obviously only based off one performance, but if he produces that sort of standard every week, and Cooper's producing what he's producing, it could just be a straight shootout for Perot or Obafemi up front.
Yeah,
Because I'd love to see.
Yeah,
definitely. Like I was just gonna say, I'd love to see Cooper with Perot and Obafemi, because I think that could mean goals, but also Cundle as well. So it's like a good headache to have at the moment, and that's without Patterson and Cham, who will have to start picking up form.
I don't want Obafemi to come back into the starting lineup, to be honest, not because of any of the situation that's happened, but I think another aspect of our improved form is the shift to put in Perot back to the striker position rather than trying to fit them both in. Perot was absent for the early part of the season, essentially, in terms of his goal scoring. And he's getting chances again now as a striker. So I'd rather just keep him there. And Obafemi's got to work to oust him. There's two strikers, is one position. So one on the bench, one starts. Easy. Because if we start the both of them, we've got no one to bring on anyway. So, because obviously Cullen's injured. So I'd rather see the other two. They look like, they're working hard. They're putting the form out on the pitch, so they deserve to be there. But back to like you said about it being too attacking, I don't see why it is too attacking. Looking at our next opponents, I said difficult run. West Brom are actually lower than us in the league now. They're 21st. They've only got 10 points, two less than us.
West Brom been awful. They've been awful. West Brom.
We should go there and try and like continue where we left off. Really, why should we be? The name is West Brom. They only got relegated, not so long ago. That's what people remember, Parachute Payment Club, all the rest of it. But they're not playing well. So
no, I'm less worried about. Well, we usually do well against West Brom away anyway. It's usually a good ground for us, normally. But I'm not so worried about that game. It's the games after where we've got like Watford away and Burnley away, Sunderland at home, who've been playing well. There's three. Those are the three after that are tough. But I don't see why we can't get something. Yeah, I don't see why we can't go at West Brom and get something in that game.
Again, though, in theory, like say it was Sunderland we're playing this week, if we beat them, we'd be the same points as them. So you're saying they're playing well and all this. So does that mean we've had a good season as well? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, a win changes everything. That's why I think we needed to win. We needed to win that whole game, like I said before. You're going into the international break. We were in the bottom three going into the game. It's just you just want. And I know it doesn't mean much at this stage, but you just needed a result at that stage because the form had got better, but we just needed more results and a good 3-0 win as well. It just changes the mood around the whole team.
Yeah, because the performance against Sheffield United was very good. So
brilliant. They matched them.
Maybe we should touch on that. The game generally, not much to say about the whole game. We had quite a few chances. They had a few chances as well. If you look on a balance of it, with a non-biased view after the game, I think it's fair to say a draw would have been decent for both teams.
Yeah.
In terms of the game, I don't think we deserve to lose the game, but we were pushing for the win. So, we took a risk. It didn't pay off, and we got caught out with an individual error on the counter-attack. That's what it was in this occasion. But, another day, Patterson turns. The one good thing I mentioned earlier that he's done that I've seen in the last couple of weeks, where he's in the penalty area and he does a turn and kind of, he nearly gets a shot away. There's a last-ditch tackle from defender before he gets a shot away. He's in the box. and the clearance just falls nicely to Brewster, who takes Norton on. And we mentioned this in the preview to Hull. Norton should bring him down, really. He tries to, I didn't really know what he's trying to do. Just run across him, take the ball away with him. I'm not really sure.
Tries to buy a foul, I think. I think he tries to run across him for Brewster to clip him, but Brewster reads it and sort of just jumps out of the way.
Yeah. And if there is contact, it's probably accidental. So
it's not a foul.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, I don't
you'd be
think
frustrated perhaps if that got blown against us the other way around. So
yeah.
I know Martin was adamant that it's a foul because he's Norton's saying he got clipped, isn't he? That's basically what's going on. Norton's saying, look, he clipped my heel, I felt the contact, and I've fallen as a result of it. And he's probably not lying, but that doesn't mean if two players are running in the same direction, sometimes you do clip a heel. And it is what it is, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it's just a mistake. I think.
Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, I think if he has that back again, he probably just wipes him out, takes a yellow card, and we get a point. But
yeah, I said he should just ankle tap him when he's on his way down.
Oh, just do anything. Just do anything there at that stage of the game. 94th minute, just pull his shorts down, do anything so he falls over. Just put him into row Z. Just yeah.
And then furthermore, ultimately, it's not Cabango's fault, but I don't necessarily think he defended the best when he was one-on-one with Brewster either, because he just allowed the pass to be played. Again, he could have brought him down as well, which it's not his fault. It's more Norton. I'm just saying there was another opportunity to deal with it, and we didn't. I think Martin touched on that as well, just the fact that we had opportunities to deal with it and we didn't deal with it. But yeah, ultimately, I know there's been a lot of late goals, and it's been a bit of a theme, and we've been perhaps questioning mentality and the late collapses, and this happened again, and all the rest of it. But I genuinely think you can't link this incident into the group of those things, because I just think it's an individual error, and that is what it is. I don't think there's no mentality issue there. Just he made a mistake.
Yeah,
we could have easily scored at
100%.
the other end 2 seconds earlier. So
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Totally okay, so that's the Sheffield game. But yeah, top of the league. They didn't necessarily look like it when they came down here, so it was a good performance from us.
No, they're flying at the moment as well. I mean, we played well.
McBurney didn't have a sniff.
He had one chance in the first half, didn't he, when she put over, which was a good chance. But apart from that, he wasn't in the game at all.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, you're right with what you said earlier. The other thing about this game is Patterson and Cham came on for Fulton and Cooper at the same time, I think. And it changed the game completely. It didn't necessarily make Sheffield United dominant, but it took away any attacking threat that we had. And when you actually think on the face of it, and this is where a lot of my frustrations come from, and it kind of clicked in my head watching this game, that those two is a lot of the reason we've been poor this season. You're taking off Cooper, who, yeah, he's an attacker, but Fulton, who's playing in that role, is not an attacking midfielder. So when you bring on Cham, who is supposedly an attacking midfielder, and Patterson, who is an attacking midfielder / winger, and it gets worse, that's when you start asking questions. And you should credit Fulton as well.
Yeah, I think Fulton's been great since he's been pushed him forward. I think he's been good. I think he complements Cooper quite well. I think that's a good combination. I know. I just agree with you on the Cham and Patterson thing. We've touched on it earlier. Just the way they changed the game. I think they're the wrong players to be bringing off the bench as well in a tight game. But he did the same against Stoke. He brought Patterson on and Cham then, I think, and Stoke, obviously, our attacking threat was completely gone. We weren't offering anything going forward then, and we were backs against the wall. And they, obviously, Fisher makes the mistake as well. But it was the same in that game, because that was the best game at that point, us going forward. And then he brought them on, and it was the same. Took Cooper off and Fulton, and it just wasn't the same.
Yeah, I just wanted to, I know we touched on it earlier, but I wanted to touch on it from the perspective of Fulton this time, because he had a lot of stick last year. And early this season, there was a thread I saw of all these late collapse games that we've had over the end of last season and the start of this season. And someone was trying to highlight how every time it happens, Felton gets
Oh,
subbed on, or
yeah.
Felton's on the pitch.
Yeah.
Like, not that Grimes is on the pitch every time, or Fisher's on the pitch every time, or Perot's on the pitch every time. It doesn't mean anything. But Felton's on the pitch every time, so it must mean something. Absolute ridiculous. But yeah. Do you want to credit how, in this instance, quite often this season, he's gone off and it's got worse? Don't see the thread about that.
Yeah,
But,
no, yeah, 100%. I think he's been great as well, playing further forward since he's pushed him there. I think he's been great.
Yeah, it's not his position. It's like Corey Smith again. We criticised some of his performances last year, but not his own fault, because he was in positions he wasn't used to. And both of them, like, they're working hard and they're trying their hardest in positions they're perhaps not used to. Felton perhaps getting a bit more used to it now, and he's playing well, to be fair. Like, he is creating stuff sometimes, and he's got a good press on him. He's working hard, and that's all you can ask for, really. And I think he deserves to be there.
Yeah, you've got to be careful with players like Fulton, because they definitely go underrated, because they just seem to be like there, and then when they make a mistake, it's highlighted because they're like, oh, like, what does he do? But like, he's a really good player at this level. He's a solid player, championship player, and they're good value at the moment. Like players like Corey Smith as well. Like, it's hard to get these experienced championship players. I think Fulton's been brilliant, and it's funny, it's right where you said, like, people highlighting Fulton in threads. I just keep noticing it more and more. It's just an agenda against some players, isn't there? Because I found it funny on the weekend. It's like first 60 minutes was a bit of a worry because we hadn't scored. We'd had a few chances. It was getting a bit tense. Crowd was starting to get a bit annoyed because we weren't like creating. We weren't scoring goals. I was thinking, we need to win this game, and players were getting stick if they misplace a pass like Fulton. Oh my God, what's he doing? All these murmurs in the crowd. But then, like, someone like Joe Allen makes a mistake, and it's kind of like, oh, unlucky. Go on, Joe, let's keep going. Yeah. It's just like, well no, not that I'm criticizing Joe Allen, because he's been outstanding, but like, he makes a mistake as well, and it's kind of the attitude like, oh, it doesn't matter, it's Joe Allen. But then, like, Fulton makes a mistake, and everyone's like, oh my God, get him off, like, rubbish.
Be interested to see, actually. I got a feeling Felton's actually played most games for Swansea than Joe Allen has.
Oh God, that's a big shout.
Because how long was Joe Allen here before he went to Liverpool? Like, how many seasons was he in the first team?
Oh God, good question.
Do you know what? I'm going to find out.
I think his first season was I'm pretty sure was the Martinez season in the Championship, when he scored against Cardiff in the derby in Indian Park. I think that was his first season.
Okay, so Felton's had...
Oh, it would have been a while, mind. It would be a while. Oh, he might have played before that as well.
135 appearances for Swansea.
I think Joe Allen be more than that. I think he played for us in League One as well.
That is what Allen is.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh God,
Felton's had 154.
Has he played more games?
Yeah. So all this, like, just, I know he's from our academy, and Alan has good memories. He was in a most successful period and all the rest of it. Felton's also been a good servant, so let's appreciate that. Like,
yeah,
we signed him youth from Falkirk. I say youth. He played 83 games for them, but he was a prospect when he came to us in the Premier League, and he had to sit on the sidelines for years in the Premier League before he actually had a good chance. He had a bit of a run under Bob Bradley, and then made bits and bobs appearances later on. Obviously, in the Championship, though, he's been a mainstay for us. Like, he's been one of them players, I think, like Grimes, probably only two perhaps left in the squad now, that when we got relegated, they really helped us out. Like, so I think we just should appreciate that.
Yeah. 100%. I'm surprised that's that, though. But that's in your head, isn't it? Like, that's the mentality of the fans. Like, you think Joe Allen has made like millions of appearances and he's a club legend, which obviously he is, but you think like Fulton, who's been there during more difficult times and played more games. It's just, you wouldn't, I think, if you ask most people, they'd be surprised at that.
Yeah, definitely. But that's why in my head I was like, I'm wondering, because well, this is what, our 5th season in the Championship now since we've come down, and he's been there, all of them. And I just know that Alan obviously was young when he went to Liverpool, but I know he had a couple of seasons in the Championship and one in the Prem. So I thought it might have been quite close. So yeah, I'm I'm not really surprised, but I think I just want to raise awareness to that because I think he's a bit undeserved with some of the criticism that he gets. And we definitely would miss him if he goes because we were going to bring in, like, from our current team, if you sold him, we just
Liam Walsh.
Well, maybe we can have one match out of him. But exactly, like there's a couple of players we tried replacing, like even Corey Smith. He's gone already. So I don't think there's that much difference in quality between Felton and Smith necessarily. They're slightly different in what they do, but you're not going to get that much better in the Championship, are you?
No.
You get it Downs, and he's gone after 1 year. So
yeah, exactly.
If you're going to pluck another Downs out of it, you're not going to have him for long. But at least Felton is there. Like, no one's sniffing around him in the Premier League. He's going to do a good job for us. If we got promoted, maybe the conversation changes about. Depends who we bring in, doesn't it? But that's another story for another day. Lastly, then, in regards to these games, remember our preview game that we talked about the scores, and you were quite cautious, and I said we're going to knock 3 past them.
Yeah, I remember.
I had faith, but it came true. I mean, 2 of their goals were nicely wrapped, early Christmas presents, perhaps, but it could have been more.
I will say, like we deserved to win the game 3-0 no matter what. But it was getting a bit tense before Manning's goal. Just thought it's going to be one of them games, and Hull, as poor as they were up to that point, they did have a couple of like mini sort of counter attacks where you thought, oh my god, please no, don't like just catch us cold here and get a bit of a smash and grab. But then that Manning goal completely changed the game then. And then Hull fell apart. Oh my god, they were awful.
Yeah, so I would say this is one of our most complete performances this season, even potentially under Martin. 60% possession, 17 shots, 5 on target. Hull had 6 shots, 1 on target. So it would have been absolute robbery if they did smash and grab.
Oh, it would have been, absolutely. We just thought it was going to be one of them games because, like, we did the bar 3 times.
Yeah.
And then you just think, like, as the game goes on, and we were so dominant without a goal, you just think they're just going to get a rubbish goal here and steal it 1-0. And I think that was the worry that was creeping in. But then as soon as that first goal went in, it was game over.
Yeah, so we had 4 big chances. We missed 1 apparently. We obviously hit the woodwork 3 times, but I think 2 of them didn't count as big chances necessarily. Good chances, but not necessarily like clear cut. I think they were just good shots, isn't it?
Yeah.
But also something interesting, 5 of Hull's 6 shots came from outside of the box. So it's not even like they weren't even working anything, clear cut either, really.
No. The only time they had anything was if they just had a little sort of mini counter attack, and then it just sort of came to not much. They didn't really cause us any problems. Really, we looked pretty solid throughout the game.
It's not working that well for them at the moment. They've obviously got this new manager in from Turkey. I think Turkey or somewhere over.
Yeah, I think it
has managed in Turkey. Definitely, they've got the Turkish owners and a lot of new players. They're conceding a lot of goals. They've conceded 21 this season now, which is nearly twice as many of us. And we're not saying we've got that the best defense at the moment. 4 losses in a row, heavy defeats as well. So I'm surprised. I thought Hull were going to push to be all right this year, but it's not quite working for them at the moment. But then, having said that, they're only 1 point below us, so anything can change. It's just their form currently. It's not just the loss, which can easily change. It's what we mentioned in the preview video, isn't it, about how many they conceded. That's why it feels a bit perhaps different to them at the moment. Yeah,
definitely, yeah. It seems like we're swapping directions, isn't it?
Yeah, and when you look at the goals they conceded against us, like the 2 gifts they gave us, like it's unbelievable, and you can see why they've conceded so many when their defense just fell apart after 1-0. Like, what's Figueiredo doing? Seriously, like that pass that's like what I would do to play football.
It is a major favour there because Perot should have had a hat trick because he hit the bar twice and he had some good chances. It just wasn't happening for him, and then all of a sudden he has that gift and gets his goal, and you don't know what that does for his confidence just by sticking one in the back of the net.
unbelievable. But I'm sure Figueiredo had a bit of a mare when he played for Nottingham Forest against us in the cup game. I think we won 4-1. I think Ollie Cooper came on in that game actually, but I'm pretty sure they went 1-0 up, didn't they? And then
Cullen scored 2, didn't he?
this was. Yeah.
Cullen scored 2 in
and
that
then he
game,
got injured, didn't he?
Got injured again, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm sure Figueiredo had a bit of a mare in that game. I think
probably.
If it's the same guy, pretty sure it is. So yeah, that's interesting. And then the second one, the Cundle goal, I don't even know what to say about that. Was that Figueiredo as well?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I can't remember who it was. I remember what happened. He kind of like
he basically
seems like the keeper's coming behind him. I think he kind of like tries to buy a foul because he thinks the keeper is a Swans player, and he just goes down. And then Cundle's just there.
I just can't believe he wasn't even. Yeah, but Cundle, fair play for making that run because.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah,
they wouldn't be making that run, but he came from quite far out. Like I didn't even think there's not like how he even sniffed that out. It's unbelievable, really, because it should never have been just there. The ball was literally in the box, safe as anything, with a couple of Hull players there. Two of them collide, fall on the floor, and the ball is literally just in the Hull around the penalty area. Near the penalty spot to the left, just there, literally there with an open goal. And he kind of jumps over one of the guys on the floor, takes it in his stride and slots it in. Like, it's unbelievable how that's happened in the Championship, really. Quite.
Yeah, I know.
But you take them however they come. But the work rate was rewarded, I think you can definitely say. Yeah, so should have scored more, but 3 maybe could be seen as a turning point. Let's hope. Before we go on to the little game then, a couple of appearances of note in that game though. Ryan Woods, who one that got away from a couple of years ago, and Cyrus Christie.
Yeah, Christie. Yeah, shame really with Christie. He's quite good for us.
A decent reception.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, to be fair, he did have a decent reception. He had a bit of a clap when he came on, but Strange was on the bench.
Well, he only recently moved. He joined them quite late in.
It was quite late, was it? Oh, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
So he's probably just working his way into the team. Maybe he'll start after they keep defending this way. But on the flip end of the spectrum, Michael Obafemi, he came off the bench. Mixed reaction.
Yeah, it was quite a few boos actually for Obafemi when he came on. I spoke to some people about it, and they seemed to think the boo was for a Hull player who was on the ground, but I don't know. There's no way, because it was literally as the stadium announcer said, Obafemi, and he ran on the pitch, and then the boos happened.
Well, Martin addressed it in his press conference, so I think
that's very well, yeah. So I mean, somebody can, but I didn't buy that anyway. I think it was definitely for him. A bit strange, really, because I didn't think when he was coming on, I didn't think, boo him, because we don't 100% know what's going on. We never will. We never know what's going on 100% behind the scenes. But I think, like, we managed to keep hold of him. He's been a great player for us when he's on form, and now we've got him back. Like, let's get him back in the side. If we can get him playing like he did last year, scoring goals, then great for us. I mean, if as long as he's coming in and putting in 100% now, and like he was before, and scoring goals, then I'm happy with that. I said to you, I think long term, he probably needs to go with the attitude. Like, obviously he had a bit of a tantrum last season, and now if that's what it is this season, then that's the second time it's happened, then maybe long term he needs to maybe try and move him on. But I think as we managed to keep hold of him, if he's putting in a shift and scoring goals, then fine by me.
He's pulled on the shirt, and he's gone onto the pitch. So, like, do you want him to not bother? Because I'm sure, like, if he's the sort of player whose head's going to drop, like, we got him to January regardless. We don't have a second striker at the moment. Like, he could just. I think he deserves the support until, like, there's a reason to not support him, and I don't think there's not a reason yet. I mean, you could be.
I think he's
disappointed with the way that he's acted, but ultimately, if he's still putting the effort in on the pitch, then you should still back him while he's doing that.
Yeah. But there we go. I remember, like, Patterson when he played when he had his first game back last season after all that contract dispute, when he played against Blackburn, he had a decent reception, didn't he? there a few boos? I can't remember.
Well, see if he goes
He
to
played
say
well
Ray
in that
Patterson
game.
now.
He played well in that game. He had got an assist for Obafemi's goal against Blackburn. I think he had a good reception when he got taken off the pitch. So I don't know. I think Obafemi's earned a bit more respect, obviously, with his performances last year and his performance in the derby, and just I don't know. I
Well,
didn't see the need to boo him.
maybe it's a one-off and people have booed him, and they got it out now, right? We were disappointed with how you've handled yourself. Here's a bit of
Yeah.
a way for us to
That's fair enough.
communicate that. Maybe if
Yeah,
it
that's fair enough.
continues, maybe it's a problem. But one time when they booed the first time, come on, like I'm not happy with how you've handled it. Do better, like sort yourself out.
Yeah, that's fair.
Back him from now on. Maybe that's the case. I hope anyway. I think there's no more points to talk about in regards to the.
The only we can do just a quick. I'll make it quick. I was just going to say, I think Manning's been really good lately. I think he's been brilliant lately. Last couple of games, I think he's played really well.
He's been left out of the Island squad.
Yeah, I think that's really harsh because I think he's been brilliant in the last sort of 3 or 4 games in particular. So I just note that. The other one is, it's a bit of a mystery to me, is why is Harry Darling not playing?
Because the other 3 are doing well.
I don't know. It seems a bit strange to me that he's just fallen out of the squad and not getting any looking, considering this was supposed to be a really good signing and he was brilliant and Premier League clubs were after him and he was a player that Martin wanted.
But it's only a couple of games, isn't it? Like, if he's not performed so far and settled in and the others have, I think it's more like Wood was meant to be perhaps the one that's at the squad player side in, but has done really well. So
yeah, Wood's been brilliant lately as well, I will say that.
Like, Martin apparently wanted to sign Wood for MK Dons a few times. So it's not, he's been after him for a while. So he obviously knows about him. Maybe Harry, it's that classic, isn't it? Harry Darling's the one that we spent the fee on.
Yeah.
But he hasn't settled as well. He hasn't performed as well on the pitch.
Yeah, maybe that is it.
Maybe Harry Darling would perform a lot better now with Bender behind him. But he got dropped before that happened. So, we don't know. Norton, I think, is a mainstay. I think he's the one he looks to for the experience and to lead the back line. So I can't see him dropping out. And
I know.
Well, he's talked about Cabango coming back in and doing really well. So he was saying how much Cabango's improved since Martin came to the club. So I just think it's one of them, innit, where who would you drop for him when the other
just being kept out of the side?
Yeah,
I know. I just thought it was a bit, just a bit strange as well. But he may be right. He maybe just hasn't settled in yet. But
because before he got dropped, I think it's the 3rd game he didn't start now. But before he got dropped, he was rotating all of them.
Yeah.
So there was one where Wood got dropped. I think Cabango got dropped in one. I think Norton's the only one that hasn't. Ultimately, I guess.
Yeah, I just always thought he was going to be the one that took over that Norton role because not sure how long Norton's got left. Especially maybe when we get to the tail end of the season, we've played a lot of games. Well, he'll have a break now with the World Cup, but I mean, towards the end of the season when it gets a bit packed, he's probably going to pick up a few knocks, isn't he? Miss a few midweek games, maybe.
So Darling got dropped for the QPR game and we won. So I'd imagine that's why he's kept the back line the same.
Don't change it, yeah.
And then
kept the clean sheet.
Even though we lost against Sheffield United,
just the one mistake.
Marginally away from a draw against top of the league. So again, probably consistency. Let's see if it improves our performance overall. And we did. We got a win against Hull. So you could have
another clean sheet.
Yeah. So I mean, it's working at the moment. So I think he's got to earn his way back into the squad now, regardless of what we paid for him.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think people like you just said, the expectation of him coming in and doing this doesn't always work from right at the start. Look at Geehy. Everyone hated him when he first came.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, it doesn't mean anything. Okay, let's move on. We got West Brom next. We're not gonna. It's over a week away, so if we do a podcast next week, we'll talk about that then. Hoping we can get tickets and go to that one, but we'll let you know, I guess, when that happens, and then maybe we can get some content if that does happen. But let's end on a little bit of fun note with a little game. So who started when Swansea played West Brom in 2012 at the Liberty Stadium and won 3-1? So you get points for the starting team. You get points for the manager, 1 point for the manager, point each for the subs bench, but obviously you only get 7 guesses. Well, you only get 1 guess for each position, essentially. And bonus points if you can name the goal scorers.
Oh, God.
Also, when I say goal scorers, it was obviously 3-1. So even if you think, in theory, somebody had a hat-trick and scored an own goal, then I wouldn't just take the one name. You need to say, like, this name scored 1, 2, 3.
Brutal in this.
Well, yeah, because otherwise, you could get lucky.
Not handing out points.
No.
This is the game, isn't it? Which everybody goes to. This is one of the top Swans games of all time. I think, no, I agree with you. I think it is one of the best.
I think it was the pinnacle of the era.
It was. I think it was. I think that was the peak of that football, wasn't it? It was just, we were unplayable. That first 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. It was like watching Barcelona in Swansea.
It was. That was, yeah. That was absolutely brilliant. That was. Definitely. So, I don't know where to start, really. I think the best place to start is up top. So, Michu was playing up top.
Yeah, Michu started as striker.
Correct. Yeah, and then the famous 3 wingers behind him, rotating, like just danger, was Pablo, Dyer, and Routledge.
Quality. That changed the game.
That was absolutely. And he never did it again. He never did it again. He never played the 3 wingers behind him ever again. No, because I remember.
Pick up an injury or something straight away after.
I can't remember. I'm sure I remember everybody saying, like, oh, let's do that again. Play the 3 wingers. Let's do it. And I remember in one interview further on in the season, I'll say the manager was Laudrup, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, further on in the season, he said something about tactics. Like, oh, everyone thinks they know, and they should just, play the 3 wingers. But he said, like, it doesn't work in every game. And I remember he actually had to address it because there was like so much demand for it after that game.
He's wrong.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, look what happened after. Okay, so that's the 3 wingers, I think.
Well, this was his first season, so we did.
It was,
this season.
Yeah, we did, yeah. So I think behind them would it have been de Guzman?
No. That's one midfield, I guess, incorrect.
Would it have been Key?
Key was the other midfielder. So you've got one midfielder wrong, so you can't have another go at that. I'll tell you at the end who that was.
Oh, that's so harsh. Right. Goalkeeper. Now there's 2 in mind.
I can't tell you now because obviously you've got to do the bench, haven't you? So I can't tell you now.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to think because there's always that season there was one, and then he got injured, and the other one was playing. So I'm trying to think if they would have been starting this game.
For those listening, have a play along in your car or wherever you're listening to, and if you're watching on YouTube, have a play along in the comments and let us know below how many you've got. And be honest, anyone can say they got them all, but just have a bit of fun and be honest and let us know in the comments how many did you actually get of this team, the subs, the goal scorers, the manager.
I'm just speaking out loud now, obviously you don't have to ask me. I'm trying to think when Vorm went to Spurs. I want to say...
Well, this is the second season in the Premier League, if that helps.
Yeah, I know, yeah. So but he was still there, wasn't he? Was he? I think Tremel was in goals.
Correct.
Oh, thank God for that. Stressful that was.
Okay, go right back.
Rangel.
Correct. Left back.
Rangel. Ben Davis.
Yeah. Centre backs.
Ashley Williams and Chico.
Yeah. Okay, so you've got one player wrong.
What team that was?
Starting 11. Let's go on to the subs bench. You get 7 names. Obviously, you got one wrong in the first team.
God, I'm struggling with this.
I didn't tell you if they were or weren't involved in the matchday squad.
Yeah.
So it's up to you if you want to take that
God, I
risk.
got a blank here. I'm
Saying
just
they
trying to
are or
think.
not.
Just trying to think who else we had in midfield at that time. Bloody hell. Right. Let's have a think who was playing at that time. Let's go with Schechter on the bench.
Schechter was on the bench, didn't score. Giving that away, but whatever. You knew that anyway.
Schechter on the bench. Let's go with Tiendali.
Tiendali was on the bench. What a lad.
Caltiro.
He hit the post in the cup final.
Yeah, that would have been absolute ructions if he scored in that final. Who else was on? Let me think. Gary Monk on the bench.
Gary Monk was on the bench.
Oh, here we go.
And that's before Chico Flores tried throwing a brick at him.
Yeah. I don't know if he was. Let's say De Guzman was on the bench.
De Guzman was on the bench.
How many is that?
You've got 3 left.
I got 3 left. One of them's going to be a goalkeeper, and
Does it? Wasn't last time.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Didn't have a goalkeeper on the bench. What about Roland Lamar?
No, I'm pretty sure he only came from on loan in like January, didn't he?
Maybe.
But no, he wasn't. So there's 2 guesses left.
Danny Graham?
No. He was not there. 1 guess left.
Now. So I literally got a blank about our midfield.
You must have been injured, I guess.
Okay. De Guzman and Key is all I can think of. What else do we have playing in midfield?
Well, you've missed the one in the first team as well, but obviously not going to tell you who that is. But I'm just saying,
I know.
There's not just one midfielder you're missing.
I know, and I can't think of any others.
Try the goalkeeper then, or maybe there isn't a goalkeeper, but you could take that risk.
No, I know. I'm struggling here now.
I mean, it's no guarantee there is another midfielder on the bench.
I'm trying to think if there's any. Would have on the bench Tiendali and Monk would have covered the back 4. Would we have had a left back on the bench? Neil Taylor.
No, so you've 3 incorrect. I'll tell you who they were now because obviously you might need to know for the substitutions and the goals. So Leon Britton started.
Oh, of course, bloody hell! That's terrible, eyes.
Di Cornell was the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And the other midfielder on the bench was Kemi Augustine.
Yeah, bloody Kemi Augustine. Yeah, I should have got that.
There's another striker on the bench, Luke Moore.
Oh, God, yeah. That's poor. I should have got them.
Okay, so do you want to have a go at the subs?
Oh, God. No idea.
3 of them.
Let's say...
So who came on for who, okay?
I reckon Luke Moore came on for Michu.
He did not. That's 1 guess.
I want to say
these
that...
are quite tricky, but there's bonus points, so that is what it is.
De Guzman came on for Key.
He did not.
And to complete the hat-trick, I will say...
Hang on. I'll be a little bit easier on you, right? You can have half a point because Moore did come on and De Guzman did come on. We just got the players wrong. So that's kind of 1 point between the 2 of them because you got a half point for each of them.
Who else was on the bench?
You can have another stab who they came on for, or you can have a go at the other one.
Nah, I'll have a go. I think maybe Kemi Augustine came on
for
Key.
He came on, but not for Key. So Key.
I got the 3 subs on.
So Moore came on for Dyer, De Guzman came on for Pablo, and Augustine came on for Michu.
Okay, fair.
And finally, do you want to try to name the goals, including the one for the opposition?
Yeah, I know Lukaku scored for West Brom.
Yeah, he did.
And I want to say Michu scored
Yeah.
Routledge scored.
Yeah.
Routledge scored 2?
Yeah, he did.
Take that. That's not
Got all
bad.
the goals. That's all right. You've done it right in the end.
That's not bad.
Can't believe you
That's
forgot
not
Britain,
bad.
though.
I know. I just think I don't know. I didn't think he was there at that time. It's stupid. He was there the all the way through.
He literally retired after we got relegated, didn't he?
Yeah, I know. That was daft. That was.
You muppet. But yeah, good effort, I guess, in the end.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it then for this one. So, we've got anything else you want to say for the end? Oh, there was one or two news things, wasn't there? Oh no. Oh yeah, there's only one. Swansea looking to appoint a new coach. Adam Ashgar. Don't really know who he is, but he's from Dundee United, or was at Dundee United before.
Fair.
Just a coach in it, because I think his second man was his first team coach left a couple of months ago. Yeah. So, but I believe Luke Williams it was that left. Yeah, at the start of the year. Sunderland are after this coach as well, so maybe we'll get it, maybe we won't. But it looks like we might be in the pole position.
Yeah, we'll take it.
And Joe Allen looks like hamstring injury, a couple of weeks, maybe not too bad. So hopefully it won't be too long till he's back.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
But yeah, on that note, then there's nothing more from me. So have you got anything?
No, that's it for me.
Okay, so hopefully we've got some good podcasts upcoming. I've been in touch with the Seattle guys, so we can do round 3. I pitched mid to late October to try and get one in before the Wales versus USA match.
Sounds good.
So, but we'll keep updated on that one, try and sort something out. But it'd be good to catch up with those guys, because we could actually be in a situation where Jordan Morris is playing against Wales, because I think he's been called up to their squad this time. So is Paul Ariola, actually.
There we go.
So that might be like, bittersweet sort of, I guess you'd appreciate playing against, as much as there's not many of the Swans lads there, but some of the guys that he might have got to know a little bit when he was down here. It's a shame we didn't get to see more of him, really, but
yeah, it was
obviously
a shame.
doing well again. Yeah. Okay, well, on that note, thank you very much for listening and watching. If you are on YouTube, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more content. We said for ages we're going to do a giveaway when we get to 500, and we are getting closer. I think we're on 460 now, so we're edging closer. We have been gaining consistent subscribers this season, so thank you everyone that has clicked that button so far. But if you are watching regular, you come a couple of times, please consider clicking the subscribe button. You only need a Google account to do it, so I think most people have got one of those these days, and it just means that when we do release videos, they should come up in your feed and you should see everything. And if you want to get notified of when we launch videos, click the bell icon as well, and you should get a pop-up or a push notification when something new comes up. On that note, thanks Lee for joining me, and we shall see you in the next one.
See you soon.